Justin's time-lapse video, and also send that to me so I can show my mom and make her believe that I've actually been working.
Right.
Okay?
And it's so cool.
Let's do that stuff. Hey, Annie Ellis Law joins us here. Now, do we have her? Jared, is she via Skype? She's via Skype? No kidding. She's from the airport. This is interesting. I don't even want to talk to her about.
She's at the airport?
Yes.
I am. I'm at the airport. They don't take your boarding pass at security anymore.
What's interesting? You look like you're being held hostage. First of all.
You had a bad run-in with some cotton candy.
Wait a second. So Annie, so this is what's interesting is before we talk about employment law, let's talk about the airport.
Yeah.
It seems super mellow there.
Yeah, look at the sign that's on the chair. See that?
Please leave this seat open. Russ has had that sign for a long time when he flies Southwest.
I love that.
He just sets it there.
And I bite Alka-Seltzer, and then I pull out a coloring book. No one sits near me.
AnnieEllisLaw.com. Annie Ellis is an employment attorney based here in San Diego, the law offices of Annie Ellis. And she eliminates the bureaucracy involved with a larger law firm, but also handles she navigates the waters for employers. Because, you know, when you're an attorney, you get stuff straight from the bar emailed to you saying, hey, this is a change. When you're an accountant, thing comes from the IRS and says, hey, this is no longer, okay?
Yeah.
But when you're an employer, let's say you're a deli owner, or you're an owner of a dry cleaner.
Yeah, you're worried about other stuff.
Well, how do you know, right? So that's what Annie does. And there's something being floated, and obviously we got a new stimulus package being floated about by Congress. And part of that stimulus package includes protections for businesses. Because if you do everything you can to tell people to keep socially distanced, and you tell everybody you can to wash your hands and put your face coverings on, somebody comes in and gets sick, they're trying to make it, it's a tough lawsuit, but they're trying to make it so that can't be a lawsuit. Annie, will you break that down for us, please, from top to bottom?
Yeah, so a lot of businesses right now are struggling with just the economics of reopening and how expensive it is. And one of those factors is, well, what happens if we just get it wrong and we get sued? So this proposal by the Republicans in Congress as part of their HEALS Act proposal is going to basically say if you're an employer or a business owner and a customer walks in, or you're a doctor and someone contracts COVID as a result of being in your business or working for you, in order to have a lawsuit, you're going to have to show that they engaged in gross negligence or intentional misconduct. And this is going to be a game changer, I think, for a lot of businesses if this becomes law, if it passes muster in the state that you're in.
So what is it going to mean? Does it mean that this isn't a blanket immunity law, though, too? Because you and I talked earlier. This is not one of those things that says, you know, you can be an idiot and be a restaurant, and we're going to, you know, because keep in mind, look at like the guy who owns the dry cleaner.
Right.
He can't put his machines outside like a restaurant can, but he also doesn't have the same requirements as a restaurant, right, Annie?
Right. So that's another tough part for each business is you've got to follow, your federal laws, then you've got to follow your state laws, and there's a different one for each industry. And then, oh, wait, it doesn't stop there, your county laws. And they change probably from the time I just left my house to come to the airport. Only 5 things changed. And so the burden is on that business owner. And if they're not following those laws, then this liability waiver is not going to apply. So that's a pretty tough obstacle for the business owner to overcome.
Well, but keep in mind, though, there's got to be negligence involved, doesn't there? I mean, it's not just a function of, I mean, we got rid of the sexual harassment lawsuits in the late 90s because every single time someone was fired, oh, it's sexual harassment.
Right.
And they tighten that stuff up. And there has to be intent somewhere or negligence, right? Is that the same thing here?
Right, but take California, for example. The bar for proving negligence is actually pretty low. And what this new proposal does is it raises that bar even higher. And we need that in states like California. But I question whether or not this is first going to become law. And second, if it does, how useful it's going to be, because you can't contract away certain things. Like, for example, let's say someone files a workers' comp claim because they got COVID. This is not going to help you in that area.
Because it's not just about employers; it's about insurance companies too, right? I mean, insurance can be. Hey, speaking of that, remember the American Disabilities Act, and for a show that supports Challenge Athletes Foundation, the American Disabilities Act was really important. It was a game changer. However, in some cases, they threw the baby out with the bathwater, and there have been cases of attorneys driving around looking for ADA non-compliance in hopes of having lawsuit settlements. Annie, has that changed at all? And could this be the next ADA nightmare type thing? Not that it would be ADA, but ADA type nightmare?
Well, the ADA nightmare has not changed. There's still lawyers that do that. No, in fact, there's a pretty well-known one in San Diego that got disbarred for it because he was using serial plaintiffs to file against businesses.
Yeah.
But, going forward, I think this is going to be a game changer for employment law no matter what. COVID has just really changed the scope of anything from the hiring process to the termination process and everything in between. It is now even tougher to be a business owner, and it was already really tough.
Yeah, it's well, and I asked you earlier today, because I interviewed her for another talk show. I asked you, is there a one-size-fits-all service for that delicatessen owner or for that barbershop guy or whatever that can follow? And the answer is have an employment lawyer at the ready. I mean, it's not necessarily, it's not a big expense, but I mean, you have to have it there, right, Annie? Isn't that kind of the answer?
You really do, because people that are in my profession, this is their job to keep up with these daily changes. And I'm in direct contact with some of these enforcement agencies. So let's say, the Department of Labor, for example, the DOL, it's a federal agency. It applies to most every business in the United States. Let's say they pass something tomorrow and it's unclear. Well, if you have a really good employment lawyer, they have a contact at the DOL and they can pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, does this apply to my client? Yeah. And how is this going to work? And that is invaluable for a business owner.
Yeah, right.
I see specialists coming up here like COVID law specialist,
Kind of like a motorcycle law specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kind of a niche.
What kind of law specialist would you like to have at your disposal, Nils?
I want cannabis law looked at.
No, for your personal life.
No, really. Right away, if you could call Tom.
Would there be any like a lawyer in your pocket who'd like to have?
Legal issues pending?
No, that's just pending. That's
are you investigating?
No, I'm just saying questions that you have about the world. What would you ask about?
What would I ask about the world?
Like what would be what kind of for me? I don't even know either. I can't tell you.
Legal stuff?
Yeah. Keep me out of trouble. It might be keep me out of trouble on the air. Because I get a little mouthy on the air sometimes. Not in this show.
Yeah, no, that gets you.
But the other shows.
I would say I'm looking at moving to Mexico, so I need some moving to Mexico law.
So you want extradition advice is what you're looking for, right?
Can I work
That's
in Mexico?
a whole other can of worms. Cross-border issues. Believe me, I deal with those in abundance here in San Diego, and that is just a Pandora's box you don't want to open.
Right. So can I sue Russ for getting me sick, for coming to work sick?
Hey, you make me sick every day.
I'm going to give you the classic lawyer answer. It depends.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, man, there you go.
My team here at one point heard me say, do not ever answer another question for the next several weeks with "it depends." I will cut you.
Yeah.
Which is probably illegal for me to say that also.
It is.
Annie, so what's on the pipe here over the next 18 months, do you figure? We've got an election coming. We've got infighting between the Republicans and Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
Is employment law going to be, I'll keep her over. You have a second? Would you have to get in your plane yet? You have a minute?
Yeah, I got a couple minutes.
Stay right there. I'm gonna ask her what's the big change?
It's almost like half Muppet, half lawyer.
Her?
Just with the thing, her mouth is moving, and which is weird. It's just weird looking, isn't it? I'm gonna go get him.
It's a little Muppetish.
I'm gonna get my Muppet mask.
Big Biz Show. BigBizShow.com. Be right back. Great to have you along. Sully and Russ back in a second.